Passive income and financial freedom are not the real answer to escaping the rat race. You actually don't need them at all. I don't know when working in a 9-to-5 job got conflated with being stuck in the rat race, but it probably has something to do with all the people out there telling you that ordinary jobs are for suckers right before they try to sell you their course on passive income and financial freedom. The truth is, you can have a 9-to-5 job and still avoid the rat race altogether. The real rat race is living paycheck to paycheck, where you're one unexpected expense away from being broke. It's the vicious cycle of having to work harder and harder just to stay financially afloat, all because you're trying to maintain a lifestyle that's simply beyond your means. People get themselves in this position from having a bad relationship with money and having the wrong idea about what money's role is in their life. And this is a very serious problem. According to Payments Intelligence, a 2024 survey revealed that almost 2 in 3 Americans, 62%, are living paycheck to paycheck. Interestingly, the same survey showed that 48% of Americans earning over 100 grand a year and 36% of Americans earning over 200 grand a year are living paycheck to paycheck. That is incredible. The good news though is that escaping the rat race or avoiding it altogether is within your control. By getting the right mindset and relationship with money and your job and sticking to some simple behaviors, money won't be something that you need to worry about in life, and everything won't feel like such a grind. So in today's video, I want to share with you 3 simple steps that you can take to either escape the rat race or avoid it altogether without quitting your job or having to achieve financial freedom. So the first thing to do is to evaluate your relationship with money. Zig Ziglar once famously said, "Everybody knows money doesn't make them happy, but they all want to find out for themselves." We see all the time that many very wealthy people in the world are deeply unhappy. So deep down, we all know that having tons of money and living a life of consumption doesn't make us happy by default. But nonetheless, so many of us spend our lives hinging our identity and our self-worth and our happiness on how much money and how much stuff we have. It all comes from comparing ourselves to others. We so often feel that if we just had more money and stuff, then we would be happy. This is a very easy mindset for the human mind to fall into, especially when we're surrounded by people and living in a culture with that mindset. But it's a massive trap, and it's really the worst kind of relationship you can have with money. And because we see ourselves in this made-up competition with everybody else, this very predictably leads to a problem with overspending on materialistic things. And when we're unable to manage our levels of spending, we're at a point where money controls us rather than us controlling money. By over-consuming, you're taking away your own freedom and choices. It really is the height of misery to have to work in a job or take a new job that you hate in order to finance a lifestyle based on materialistic instant gratification that will do absolutely nothing for your lasting happiness. I mean, just think about it. Nobody, when they're on their deathbed, wishes that they just had more stuff. Nobody wishes this because happiness is an inside job. It comes from within. Don't get me wrong though, money isn't evil and it can improve your life in many wonderful ways. But this comes from using money on experiences and things that truly add value to your life, or to connect with and help others, or create memories with loved ones. And if you stop to think about what truly makes you happy and how you would spend your time if you could do anything in the world, you will probably realize that you don't actually need that much money and stuff. Nobody ever really sits down and does this exercise, but this is what you need to do to avoid a life of excess. Even if you had a bunch of money and stuff, you would still have the same non-money related life problems that you have now, like the challenges of maintaining good relationships with family and friends, and health issues with yourself and loved ones getting sick and passing away, and also things like stress and loneliness. Just remember, you're still going to be the same person, and there are certain ups and downs of life that everybody experiences, no matter how much money they have. So stop caring about what others think, and don't put yourself in the rat race by being a slave to accumulating money and stuff for superficial reasons. There's nothing to gain from this. So the second thing to do is to evaluate your relationship with your job. And the first step of this is to ask yourself, does your job define you? Now, if you're feeling like your relationship with money is pretty good, but you still feel like you're in this relentless grind of your 9-to-5 job, as though you're on a treadmill and you just can't step off it, you might subconsciously be allowing your job to define your identity. And when it comes to this, the problem actually lies with you rather than your job. You're actually choosing a mindset that this job is your lot in life, that you're totally dependent on it, and that you don't have the option to live the life that you want. By adopting this mindset, you're imprisoning yourself with your own thoughts. You're giving away your power and your freedom to be able to live the life that you want. And you're just giving in to letting work take control of your life and consume all of your time and energy. And when you do this, your self-worth and your identity get tied to your job. We label ourselves based on what we do for a living, which makes us lose sight of who we are outside of work, and it cuts us off from having a broader sense of self that exists independently of our work life. This leads us to not try new things, and we live out this self-fulfilling prophecy of being chained to a job we don't like for our whole life. You just need to realize and truly believe in yourself that you're not dependent on the job, and that you actually have so many other options to create and live the life that you want. You see, you actually have multiple identities. You're not just a lawyer or an accountant or whatever you do for work. This should only be one of your many identities, whether that's being a son or a brother or a sports fan or a painter or a writer, or whatever other roles and passions and interests and talents apply to you outside of work. If only a small part of you is defined by what you do for a job, this makes it a hell of a lot easier to try new things, like change career or companies, or take a chance by starting a business on the side, which is going to be a lot more difficult if your whole identity is tied up in your job, because any diversion from this will give you a sense of failure because you're losing your sense of self. So you need to resist the urge to allow work to dictate your entire life and identity. Instead, you need to focus on blocking out time for the things that you want to do and designing a life that you want, rather than just working all the time. The good news is that this is a problem that's totally within our control to fix, and that if we have the right mindset and we make the right decisions, we can have a job without it completely defining us and giving us that feeling of entrapment. And the second step here is to ask yourself how you see your job. As with everything in life, what attitude you have towards your job goes a long way to determining your experience of it. It's a common mindset for people to hate their job just because, but if you just hate your job, even if there's no particular reason for you to hate it, you're always going to find things to complain about and feel like your job is awful. And I'm not trying to say that there aren't jobs out there that are awful. Believe me, I've been there before. All I'm saying here is that your relationship with your job doesn't have to be like this, and there is a lot of power in the attitude that you bring to work. If you can have a positive attitude and take pride in the things you're doing at work and try your best each day and work well with other people, you will probably have a much better time and have a much more successful career than someone who is moping around all the time. So you can actually enjoy your job. But if you know you've got the right attitude towards work, but your job just sucks no matter how you approach things, then I definitely look at changing jobs until you find the right one for you. So what makes a good job that you can actually be happy in? I think this comes down to three main things. Firstly, you have to find a job that has work that's interesting to you and challenging and purposeful. Secondly, you have to be paid fairly for your time, skills, and effort. And thirdly, you have to work with good people who you like and admire. For me, you need at least two of these three things for any job you work in. And one of those two things always has to be that you work with good people who you like and admire. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't enjoy the people and the environment you're working in, and you're looking at the people above you and you don't want to be like them and you don't envy them, then it doesn't matter how interesting the work is or how much you get paid, you're going to be miserable at work, and you're going to have that feeling of forever grinding away in the rat race. Leaving an amazing group of people just to earn another 20 grand or whatever is a really bad idea in my opinion. It always ends badly because good work environments are hard to come by, and you just can't have a good time at work without a good environment. Getting financially educated and smarter with your money is another must for getting out of the rat race or avoiding it entirely. Create a budget so you can get a clear view of your income and expenses and find ways to live below your means so that you have money to spend on the things that you enjoy most in life. A budget helps you break free of the rat race by putting you in control of your money. Instead of constantly doing things you don't want to do to chase more money and still feeling like it's never enough, A budget allows you to know where you stand financially, make intentional decisions that prevent overspending and financial stress, and also escape the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and direct your money towards the things that bring you the most value and joy. By giving your money a clear purpose, a budget helps you work towards a life of freedom and fulfillment, rather than one of endless chasing. And when you're starting out and want to make an immediate impact on your situation, it's a lot easier to just reduce your expenses by following a good budget rather than find a way to earn a lot more money. So there you have it, guys. Escaping the rat race doesn't necessarily require passive income and financial freedom. It just requires a shift in mindset, a healthier relationship with money, and making intentional choices about your job and your finances. By understanding what truly makes you happy, redefining how you see your work, and taking control of your finances through budgeting, you can actually create a life of freedom and fulfillment right now. You don't need to have a 250 grand passive income or whatever, which takes decades to build in most cases anyway. The rat race isn't about having a 9-to-5 job. It's actually just about being stuck in a cycle of stress, overspending, and finding work unbearable. So break free by focusing on taking control of your finances, your experience at work, and start making life the way that you want it to be. But that's it for today, guys. If this video has got you thinking more deeply about passive income and the role it has in your life, then I think you'll love this video on the screen right now, where I go into more detail about whether passive income really is the answer. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.